Hello, welcome back to the Topper Machine Sawmill. I'm Josh Topper, and if you caught Saturday's video, you caught what we did with the sawdust. Now, we had a lot of great comments and questions about the use of that sawdust. Many people suggested, you know, a sawdust press, something to turn it into wood pellets to heat the shop. I looked into that option, and softwood does not make a good pellet for heat. Hardwood does, but again, looking at the options and looking at all the costs associated with that, and the reality is putting it on the trails makes the wife happy. That is the most important part. I could go spend the money on a pellet mill and she'd be unhappy. So it's kind of a toss-up here what to do, but spreading it on the trails is definitely a good thing. It really helps us out. It, you know, works for erosion control, works for the wood tick control, and it works extremely well for wood ticks, by the way. So that's been a great way to take care of the sawdust for us. And there were many great compliments on the 1933 Farmall F12 and how well it ran. And this thing is, it's a Swiss watch. It's been completely gone through. As far as the engine goes and the magneto and everything, went through it all. And this thing is, like I said, a Swiss watch. It runs so great. The only thing I wish I had for it was a set of original, very early F12 fenders. I'd love to have a set of fenders on it. It doesn't bother me that it doesn't have the fenders, because I mean, I'm not gonna, if I fall off, oh well, I go happy doing something I enjoy. But I would like a set of fenders. I think it would look really nice on this tractor and kind of complement it nicely. It is only 12 horsepower. So it is a 4-cylinder, but it is 12 horsepower. I'll grab the camera, we'll walk in and come in and take a close look at the whole thing. So some of you had commented on the front wheel how it needs something to steer, help steer it. And as you can see, the bolt holes here, there was something bolted on this at one point. When I bought it, there was nothing there. So I will be fabricating something at some point, because it does steer kind of tough. Sometimes it wants to slide, but they do have steering brakes. You have a right and a left brake, these two levers, this one here and this one here. So you can lock up one wheel or the other to help steer. That really does help a lot. There's the motor. And when I bought this thing, it was kind of a rusty lump. But this cover somebody had made and put on there over the magneto, and I've decided to leave it there because it does look good there. So definitely a nice feature. Many of the early Farmalls, I'm hoping you can see this, there's a lot of glare today. The sun's pretty bright, but many of the Farmall tractors do not have a dipstick. My Super M over there does not. It has little test cocks down on the side of the oil pan, but this has a dipstick. And it's very rare that I've seen to find an international motor with a dipstick on this early stuff. So pretty cool to have that. I think the Waukesha's had it, and being that this is an early 12 with the international motor, I think that might be why it has a dipstick. As I know a little bit later on, they went away from that. But overall, this has been just a great little tractor. It was sitting outside when I got it, and you can still make out a little bit of the decal here, very little of it. There's a little bit of damage to the hood here. And this is the other thing that's kind of cool, is most of these F12s had a hole up here with an apparatus part of the fuel system. This does not. So I've been trying to source a new hood, but it's very difficult. And then I added the belt pulley. The brake drum covers were rotted out, which is common on these, so I found some used ones and put on there. And I actually have the full mounted cultivator for this thing. All of that is over here, and I'd be willing to sell that to the right person that wants it, but it is complete cultivator. So if anybody's interested, that is available. Now we'll come back over here to the manure spreader. This is a Minneapolis, possibly a Minneapolis Moline, I'm not sure. I added these extensions on here to get me some more capacity. And with it being out like this, the boards are starting to get bad. I'm going to replace all these boards with just a sheet of steel. And I think that'll cure my problem there, because you can see this board's buckled. you know, it doesn't get everything out. But we'll go ahead and I'll replace all that at some point with some steel, and that'll take care of all that. And as far as the beaters, it didn't do a lot of good in the video, as you saw, but it still looks cool. So overall, very happy with this old equipment. I enjoy using it and keeping it going. Many of you maybe heard that clunking sound. That was actually the drive mechanism driving the apron chain. So it just kind of ratchets off of one of the wheels, actually the wheel on that side, and it just slowly feeds it just like that, just a little at a time, depending on what position you're in on the feed lever over here. And actually, let's go over. There's the feed mechanism right there, that lobe thing. So that's actually what's kind of feeding the apron chain. So I hope you enjoyed Saturday's video of getting rid of the sawdust. Coming up this Saturday, we are back in the machine shop, had a small job come in, and then for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I am finishing up the editing on some jobs that I did back a couple months ago, because I had a pretty good job that came in a few months ago. But the way things are sounding, that'll be like the last one for the year. So things aren't sounding the greatest, but is what it is. And stay tuned. After all that, we are sawing again. We actually sawed it all. It is cut, it is filmed, but we sawed 21 feet. We needed some more 2x8s for the sawmill shed, and we were going for 20 foot. We cut the log at 21 feet, and we got 8 21-foot long 2x8s, full 2x8s out of that log. So absolutely beautiful boards. So stay tuned. That video will be coming in about a month or so, and we'll just be working on projects moving forward. Progress is being made on the dragline as we speak. I got all the track rollers on. I'll be pulling the tracks into the shop and start assembling those soon. There's going to be video of that. I do have the aluminum for the piston for the steam engine. That is here. I'm going to be figuring out all my rates of expansion and calculate all that out to start making the piston. The rings are here. They were ordered from Niagara Piston Ring, very reasonably priced, so they're here. I'm hoping to get the steam engine back together here because I have my operational inspection coming up in the fall. So stay tuned. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. And with that, till next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.